is Rachel Carr and welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to be sharing with you one of my favorite healthy vegan recipes, and that is a baked tofu pad thai. Today's recipe is completely oil-free, gluten-free, and as always, completely plant-based. So thank you for joining me. Let's get started with this delicious recipe.
You're going to start by boiling 4 quarts of water and cooking 4 ounces of rice noodles in it until they're just cooked. Then you're going to drain the noodles and rinse them with cold water in your sink to stop them cooking. You still want them to be a little bit al dente. Next, we're going to prepare our tofu. Slice the block of tofu into 1/2-inch thick strips. You don't have to press the tofu, as baking it in the oven like we're going to do will dry it out nicely. Next, we're going to take 2 tablespoons of tamari, 1 tablespoon of maple syrup, 1 tablespoon of rice vinegar, and 1 pinch of chili powder. Next, you're going to take your cut strips of tofu and place it in the marinade, and you're going to leave it in there for a couple of minutes, and you're going to make sure to flip it over so that both sides of the tofu get nicely coated with the marinade. You're going to take the tofu directly out of the marinade and place it onto a baking tray after this. You don't have to pat the marinade off of the tofu or anything. You can just take it straight out of the bowl and onto the tray. Place your tofu on a parchment-lined baking sheet, making sure that you're not crowding them. You don't want them touching. You want to have a little bit of space in between the pieces of tofu so they bake evenly. And then we're going to put them into a 400-degree oven and bake for about 30 to 45 minutes, turning after every 15 minutes to make sure that both sides get cooked. Next, we're going to prepare our sauce. Start with 3 tablespoons of tamari, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, 1 tablespoon of miso, and 3 tablespoons of lime juice. You're going to stir those up really well until it's well combined, and then set it aside until you're ready to cook the pad thai. Next, take about 4 bunches of scallions, and you're going to chop them into different sized pieces. You can do larger pieces or smaller pieces, however you like, or even a mix. And then you're going to set those aside until you're ready to cook the pad thai. Remember our tofu that was cooking? So after about 15 minutes, this is what it looks like. So I'm going to make sure to go ahead and turn all of the pieces. You can see how well browned they are on the bottom. We're going to flip them all over and put it back into the oven for at least another 15 minutes, possibly 30 minutes, depending on how crispy you like it. You'll notice the tofu is browning nicely and is actually becoming a little firmer and having more of a chewy texture, which is exactly what we're going for. So I'm going to put this back into the oven to finish the cooking. Next, we're going to mix the rice noodles that we cooked earlier with the green onions that we cut. And then I'm going to add some broccoli slaw, or you can use mung bean sprouts if you have those. This is a nice way to use up the stalks of broccoli stems. And finally, I'm going to prepare some julienned red bell pepper to add to the pad thai. These I'm just going to remove the seeds, and then we're going to cut the bell pepper into long, thin strips, otherwise known as a julienne. And finally, I have my tofu done cooking. I pulled it out of the oven, and this is how it looks when it's all finished. It has a really nice texture to it. Now we're going to start sauteing the pad thai with about 4 tablespoons of water, about 1 clove of garlic chopped, and about 2 tablespoons of ginger. I'm also going to add that julienned bell pepper to the pot, and I'm going to saute this in the water only for about 5 or 6 minutes or so until the bell pepper is nice and soft. You can see that the water is cooking it nicely. You don't really need to add oil to this at all. Next, I'm going to add the baked tofu to the mix, and I'm going to quickly saute that. And then I'm going to add the sauce and the noodle and veggie mixture to the pan. And pretty much we're going to saute this until everything is hot, but you don't have to cook it for very long. The noodles are already done, and that broccoli slaw and the other veggies will cook very, very quickly. Other veggies that I think would be absolutely delicious in this dish are zucchini, radishes, mushrooms, and asparagus. Once everything is nice and hot, this dish is best served right away. I recommend that you plate it into 2 bowls, and you're going to garnish this dish with chopped cashews, lime, and cilantro. You can use lemon if that's all you have, or even some hot chili peppers would be a nice touch for this dish. Thank you so much for watching. If you appreciated this healthy and delicious recipe, please give a thumbs up to this video and subscribe to my channel for more healthy and delicious plant-based recipes.